Good morning, good morning. It is Rose and Sanjay with Motivation Station. Rose, good morning, good morning.
Morning, Sanjay.
Can you hear? Is everything okay? Sorry, I know we're playing with the
Everything's
headphones.
fine. Yes,
Everything is good?
everything's
Excellent.
beautiful.
Sorry for running a little delayed today. I help I think I mentioned this a long time ago. I help a colleague that I used to work with. He's like an older gentleman and he's having issues cuz he's traveling to New York for Thanksgiving, and I was like, "Wow, that's awesome!" And he wanted to do some last minute making sure things work, and I always have to remind myself that I know it's gonna take over an hour to help him, and it's not because like I don't think he's capable of doing things. It's just that I know it's a little bit more difficult for him to do things, and I was like, I should be able to knock this out within an hour. But we did as much as we could. I'm probably gonna give him a call back after the podcast and just make sure he's all right. But he's traveling and he's just kind of concerned about safety with his technology and stuff like that. But he should be good. But I'll follow up with him. But how are you? How's everything?
I want to thank you for finishing up last episode.
Mm.
I want to hear what was your decision in the last
Ah,
episode after
so
that,
I I
generously,
I did
and I
dig.
want to share the journey that I'm going through
Uh, all right, let's start with you, and then we'll come back to me.
right
How because like my story is not that it's long. It's just there's more steps to it. Like I
now.
did
Okay,
make a
I'm
I
just
did
gonna
make a
pour
decision. I did make a
tea
decision, but
today.
like the
Okay.
decision's not like up to me exactly. That is an awesome teapot, by the way.
Thank you very much. Today is the tea time.
Mm.
Today is the basil and holy basil and some other oranges and some good tea.
Yeah, of
Cheers
course.
to
Oh,
that.
cheers. Yes, absolutely. I made it. I got up early today,
It's
but I
been a
went to
while
bed
since we
early.
cheers. Yeah, so today is it's gonna be a tea time, comfortable, cozy tea time. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone who is joining right now. Bonjour. Très bien, Patty. And of course, I shared my journey last week of having a little turbulence on my engine. So I've been taking it easy for sure. Mornings I spent outside on my patio for about 30 to 1 hour, just enjoying the sun. And I have been reading a book, Think and Grow Rich. If anybody wants to read that book, I definitely recommend it. Read it 3 times because it's so much knowledge, so much to take in and practice. Think and Grow Rich. It's a classical book by Napoleon Hill. Definitely recommending that. And I started a challenge, a 40-day challenge. It's 40 days until Christmas was 2 days ago. Not Christmas, the New Year.
In New Year, yeah. I was like, Christmas, what?
And I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a challenge of what I started practicing is a Japanese technique that I've shared before. It's 1% every day. Do something for 1%, and then prepare yourself to do something forward. And then, if you're feeling a little slightly procrastinated or lazy, clean something, just sweep the floor, and you already feel that you want to do something more. And I'm practicing number 4 now. Technique is every time you look and just stand straight, right? Posture. Posture is very important because it's connected to your brain and you think and feel clearly when you stand up straight, right? So I started um, generously sharing this with you guys and started contributing that into my life. And my brain started telling me, what more can I do, right? I started reading. What more can I do? So I was listening to my body. I started to having those slow moments when I can listen to my own body, when I can listen to my intuition, my organs. I said, what do you want, body? What do you need? Let's start arm workout. So I have dumbbells. So today was a day 2 right? It's a day one or one day, right? It's your choice. Today is day two of me grabbing this 40-day challenge of arm workouts till the end of the year. So I definitely want to see great results, and I know I will because those 1% always works, right? It's only 2.5 minutes a day, guys, 2.5 minutes a day, but it's every day. And it's making me feel definitely much better, definitely more energized, definitely more like, okay, we're working on my engine. So, and sharing that with you right now, drinking some beautiful tea, had my breakfast of champions. Definitely working on that moment, having a breakfast of champions, having my avocado, having my egg, having my tomato and a toast. It's like having all that beautiful carbs, good fats, and having my vitamins and protein. So, it's just, it's a journey. It's a journey that comes only when you start listening to your body. It's not even a decision. For me, it's not a decision. For me, it's like I'm going what my heart wants. I'm
Mm.
going what my body wants. And while I'm doing that, I feel great. It's just so fulfilling, and I'm beautifully telling you and everyone to listen to yourself because your body never
Yeah, the body will always tell you what it's in the need for, and it's important to listen to it. But I'm glad
lies.
that you're, going through this journey, and like you said, it's not just a matter of like just doing it, right? But the fact that like you gotta have the will to do it, right? Because anybody can like it's like, hey, I want to start going to the gym, right? You're like you sign up, you go tomorrow, you go, you're like, all right, I started my journey, right? But then like after the day after, you're like, I don't feel like going today. Maybe I'll go the day after tomorrow and stuff like that, right? But there's a certain level of commitment when it comes to you making a decision to do something, and that leads to that kind of rolls into what we talked about last week, what I decided to do, right? So I did have some offers available to me for work. Actually, during the week, this week, I had another offer as well. Now, I didn't hear back from anybody, but I did continue to see how work goes. And like, have you ever hit those moments where it's like there's things that you had complained about, or you weren't on par with, and you're
Hmm.
like, you know what, like this is not gonna change. Like, so you've made your decision, right? Have you ever hit points where like you make decisions like that and then like hit that, like, okay, I've made my decision, but then it changes, like something changes and you're like, shit, like I didn't think this would change and now it changed. So now it's not as problematic as I thought it was, right? So things like that started happening at my current job, and I was like, you know what? Like, I complained about like being berated by one of my project managers all the time. And now for the last 2 weeks, she hasn't been here. She's gone, right? Um, I had a colleague, com- somebody from my team complain about me to my manager, and my manager had to like talk to me aside and be like, hey, like, this person said that you spoke ill about this person. And I was like, I never spoke ill. I just disagreed with what they said, and that's it, right? But it's funny because now I have two people who are, part of my team that are like, they're in agreement that I was the bad egg in the situation, right? And they're so convinced that I'm the bad egg in the situation that those two people think that that's the truth, right? Now on the other side, I have about 3 or 4 colleagues who are like, no, it's the complete opposite. Like Sanjay does this, Sanjay does that. How does Sanjay do, all this stuff? Like we're not even sure, right? And then we have my manager who's just like on a whole different side,
Yes.
just not, he doesn't know anything. And he's trying to come back into the picture, but he's leaving me to do things, right? Now I have a decent team. I have a team that I can build. And like the little things that I had complained about, I'm kind of getting over, right? Um, I don't know where things are going. I'm keeping my doors open to opportunities, but like my gut feeling has been telling me that like it's worthwhile staying. because the thing is, I'm in a place where the people that I work with respect me. They respect me very well. They rely on me very well as well, and then like they speak very highly of me. Like they like if there is an issue, they're like, go see Sanjay. He's by the help desk area. Go see Sanjay, right? And for that to happen within the 3 months that I've been here shows good reputation. It's funny because the company I work for, they do something that if you're an employee and like you do a good job, they can like give you something called I won't say it actually because I don't want to point it out, but basically they can give you points, right? Like to like and if you have enough points, you get like a gift card and stuff like that, right? But it's only an internal employee system, and I've already had two or three people reach out asking like, "Hey, we want to give you points, but we can't find your name in the system." And I'm like, "Oh, but I'm a contractor. You can't give me points." And they're like, "Oh no, we really want to give you points and things like that, right?" And I had people give me, of course, they give me like candy and chocolates and like lunch and stuff. And then I've had people
Yes.
come by that like they knew that I was taking the mushroom coffee. So she's like, "Oh, you need to try this thing called mud water," which I think I talked about in a different podcast, right? And I was like,
Yeah, it's
"Why did you
another
just bring it?"
trend.
I was like, "Why did you just bring this up to me?" And she's just like, "Oh no, we talked about it. And I thought you'd be interested. See how it works out for you." And now we've been like, I want to say even good friends, and we're beyond the little colleagues now. Like we talk every day, we'll walk by and we'll just chit chat. But like everything is on that surface level getting better. The manager that's at what that the is the client manager, he likes me a lot. He likes me and the guy I work with alongside with the other two guys that are here, right? Now the thing is, I don't know where it's going from their standpoint. Like I don't know if they're gonna keep some of us, let go of some of us, things like that. But like I'm not worried about my position because like I don't think they'll let me go unless I do something catastrophically dumb, which I don't think I'll do. But like I have enough reputation there that they'll probably want to keep me around. So the other demons I've been fighting is like, oh, I gotta drive to work every day. I gotta, like spend gas, go through tolls. And I've started doing one favor to one of my colleagues. I started giving him a ride to work. He's only 6 miles away from work, but if he
Yeah.
Ubers, it's $30 one way, which I think is absolutely insane. This is a northeastern,
So he's helping you with the
thing.
gas.
So yeah, he is helping me with gas. He'll pay for things here and there, and he's a cool guy. And I complained about the longer commute, but I complained about the longer commute because of the way I was going. Because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna save some money on tolls and go the other way. Going that other way adds 20 minutes, both like both ways. So then like at the end of it, it is gonna be an hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hour commute. But that's because I made the decision to make it that way. If I go the normal way and I gotta drive through traffic and I kind of just like suck it up and go, or even leave a little bit earlier, my commute's less than an hour. To pick him up and then drive him to work is an hour and 10 minutes. So when I started to look back and look at this, I was like, you know what? Like there's things that I complained about that I feel like were legit. Like I shouldn't be yelled at from my project manager every day and things like that. But this stuff where I'm like complaining about, oh, my commute's too long, or too much gas, stuff like that. Those are decisions I made before I took the job. I can't complain about something that I accepted, you know? So the more I started thinking that way, I was like, you know what? This job is really not that bad. And here's the other part. There's a project that we're doing at work now that's not my project. It's another team's project, but I'm putting my hand in to help. It started getting so hard on me that my client manager was like, you know what? Sanjay, this is not your job to do. Fix everything else. When you get this problem, give it to the team that's having that's doing all this. And I was like, I'm trying, and I was like, I really think the problem is like the computers. I don't think it's anything user. I don't think it's anything software. I think the computers are just bad. It took them 2 weeks to make a decision that said, don't give out any more new computers. We need to fix this problem before we get out computers. And I was like, yo, I took 2 weeks trying to solve this issue. And now you're telling now you're telling everybody we're not doing good new computers anymore, which takes off more than 60% of my workload. So now I can actually do my work, you
Wow.
know? So now we're going into December.
Look how mysteriously God is working.
Yeah, right. And so work is slowing down. It's December. People are taking vacation. I will be I will be in Cape May on December 19th. So I think the 19th is a Friday, and then Saturday I'll still be there. But I'll see
You
if I
guys
can try to do
having
the
a
podcast.
cabin?
We do get an Airbnb. Um, not in. So we were looking at in Cape May, but it was a little bit more expensive, and I was able to save $200 by just staying like 20 minutes out of Cape May. So it's like I always we have. I'm not gonna lie, and like shout outs to Cape May and the area down there. My wife and I have been going for like the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, right? Since a little bit before COVID. And there's times where we would get a whole apartment to ourselves or a whole house to ourselves. And there were times where we did room share. So we get a bedroom, but we share the kitchen and the living space. And then that's it, right? But the times we shared spaces like that, we've had some of the most wholesome owners ever. Like they would play with my daughter, they would give us stuff, they would recommend stuff. They'd be like,
Yes.
Please come back again, please come back again." And they were just like the nicest people ever, and it's always a fantastic experience. So I highly recommend, if you're not from Jersey or if you are from Jersey, visit Cape May in South Jersey, right? It's and I mean I want to try to go in a warmer weather because the water is nice, the beach is nice, right? But we always go in winter. I love the look of everything. I love the the atmosphere. Like we go, like I said, we've gone for 4 or 5 years. When we see people, they think we're regulars. They're like, "Oh, didn't we just see you last month?" And I'm like, "No, we come every year, but we come to the same places every year. So maybe that's why they recognize us." But they're so freaking wholesome, and I love it. So this time we did get a house that's nearby, so we're gonna go there. On I've booked it from Friday to Sunday, but I think I'm gonna book it from Thursday to Sunday instead. So then that way I can have Friday and Saturday down there. Otherwise, I mean, I could just go. I mean, I'm going back and forth, but I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, my job knows I'm going now and all that. No problem. So I think work will lessen a little bit. I have a good team. I have good people around. Um, I think there, uh, like in my heart, I think if the right opportunity comes, I'll feel it. You know. And as much as like I had like some opportunities come to me and they didn't follow up with me, if I don't get it, I wouldn't be hurt. But if I get it, I maybe would pursue it for like
Yes.
like I did a few interviews and they liked me. They liked me a lot. So I'm like that already counts for something. You know what I mean? But my thing was also I wouldn't mind commuting to work if I had to work in the city again, because then it gives me time to like focus on the podcast, focus on. I actually have a friend that he asked me to help him more with some video work and do some work on the side for his LLC. So I was like, okay, like let's talk. So we set up like some meetings to talk about it, but I have to review his work. So there's like a lot of things I want to do, and this job was like kind of taking it up. But honestly, the longer I dwelled in it and I sat in the dark and just kind of sat with it and brewed with it, I was like, honestly, the job is getting better. It's just me complaining now. And then I was like, are these complaints like valid? Like, am I actually the stuff that I'm complaining about? Is it true? And it's like, no, I created the things I'm complaining about. If I don't want to drive for 2 hours, I have to go the other way. If I want to, not have to drive more than an hour, okay, leave 15 minutes early. If I want to drive with no tolls, okay, leave a half hour early. you know but then if I don't leave on those times and then I get to work late and then I complain about, oh my god, I'm so late, it's honestly just my fault you know so I like the whole me getting yelled at. I don't think it was. Oh, I won't say it's not my fault at all. I'll just say it's not completely my fault. But like now I'm just in a better space. So if I get the opportunity, great. If not, I'm actually kind of happy where I'm at. But we'll see how things go. I know last week I was a lot more stressed about it. This week I'm a lot more carefree about it. And maybe it's just because the holidays are coming up and I know there's gonna be time off, and like I'm looking forward to having. I have Thanksgiving Day and the day after off, so it'll be a nice like 4 days that I have off, and I'm just gonna relax. I'm just gonna chill. Maybe I'll do some things I wanted to try to do. Like today, one of the things I'm gonna do with my daughter was I have like a Lego set for Harry Potter, and
Hmm.
it's like the Lego set for the spider, like the Aragog, like the main spider. So she's been begging me to like want to put it together, and I'm like, you're too young to figure this out, but if you want to do this, we'll do it today. And so, just kind of looking forward to the day and just kind of relaxing and all that. But it took a while for me to just kind of be at peace. Like I honestly, like if my biggest problem at work was the fact that I just felt unjustified getting yelled at, and now that I'm not getting yelled at, especially for the past 2 weeks, and it's funny because the work that I've been getting the past 2 weeks, I feel like I should have been yelled at from these users because the computers were so broken, and I felt so bad not being able to fix these computers, and all these people were just like, it's fine, just give us our old computer, give us a loaner, you just fix it, when you can. No one once yelled at me and was like, "You're not doing your job," which is what I'm used to. People coming back, "You're not doing your job. You're not paying attention to your job. You're not doing anything," and that's what I'm used
Mhm.
to. But everybody's been so nice here. Um, every time I walk by, everybody says hi. Everybody, like it's such a nice atmosphere. And like to me, the biggest thing is, like I said, it's a Japanese company that I'm working for, so it's like the biggest influence for me to sit here and want to learn Japanese. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I'm trying my best to look at it that way and go from there. So we'll see how everything goes. Yeah, I do want to do shout out. What's up, Morgan, and hey, Megan? Thanks for coming by.
Konnichiwa. Hi, Megan. All right, that's a good news. I'm glad that this week it's much different than the last week, right? It's like a roller coaster,
It is, and I think,
as the
like I
sun's
said,
gonna mention.
half of it for me was just the fact that I feel like I didn't really keep the proper attitude that I probably should. Um, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna downplay myself and be like I shouldn't be complaining, right? Because like
Yes.
it's like like why would you want to work at a job that you just constantly get yelled at? Because like the yelling that I was getting was like, you're not doing your
Yes.
job, and I'm
It
like,
was
yo, I
listening
would
like
come to the
an
office.
arcade.
I
Hmm.
would come to the office and I wouldn't even like sit at my desk. Like I remember one day I walked into the office, I put my stuff down, I was about to sit down to log in, and somebody already walked up to me like, "Hey, I have problems," and I'm not gonna tell them no. And maybe it's on me for me to be like, it's hard for me to say no, but it's my job to help you. Why would I say no? But it's getting there. Like I actually made a. I'm playing with some video settings. I actually made a pretty big mistake at work the other day,
Cool.
and I was talking to my manager and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry about this. He's like, honestly, it happens. Don't worry about it. Just let's be better about it next time. Like he had every right to be like, this user started, they don't have a computer. What are you doing with your life, right? He was like, it happens, man. I know you've been busy. Just don't do it again, right? Like he's a good manager because like, first of all, whenever I've gotten yelled at, he would call me and be like, are you good? Like it's not your fault that this stuff is
Mm.
happening. And I'm like, that's a manager right there. That's a leader right there, right? The people that I report to right now, like no offense, but if you ever watch this podcast, I don't really care anymore. I don't think they're leaders. I really do not think they're leaders. You okay with your headphones?
I don't hear you.
Oh no.
I do hear you.
Y-
Oh,
Is it
I don't
one
know
ear?
why.
Both ears?
No, we're good.
You good?
We're
Oh,
good.
oh sorry, I'm
Yeah,
playing with. Okay.
we're good.
Um, they're not leaders. I'm not being led at all. Period. From like my management, but that's why like it's hard because like if I worked for a job that didn't really care about me at all, then I wouldn't stay here, right? So even though
Absolutely.
the people I'm working with, I report to, they're giving me a hard time. My client is telling me I'm doing fantastic, and I'm like, that's what matters to me more than anything. So I like I respect them, I care for them, and then like I know if I leave it'll cause problems. But now they're literally when I left Friday, they made the announcement that we're not deploying new computers. So that takes off the workload of like more than half of everybody's. So now when we do our work, it's back to normal until we can figure things out. But I don't know what the long term game plan is. And the thing is, I know if I talk to the client manager, like the guy that cares about me, and I tell him the realness of the situation, he would just come down, like
Hmm.
be real with me. He'll just be like, listen, like you gotta do like. Remember how I told you I didn't know what decision to make, and I feel like everybody I would talk to would just say, do what's best for you, right? I know with my current management, if I said that, like, hey, I'm leaving, I don't like it here, they would just tell me, Like they wouldn't tell me like do what's best for you. They'd just be like, you're quitting. You're a quitter. You're not good enough. That's what they would say. That's what they would say. They'd be like, "You're not worthy of this position, and if you want to quit, you're gonna look bad. You're gonna make us look bad. You're gonna make the company look bad. You're gonna make your team look bad, and they're gonna basically down talk me the entire time, right?" But the client manager, he'd be like, "Listen, man, do what's best for you. If you're stressed out, if these guys are giving you a hard time, I know he would say, if there's something in my power that I could do, like if I could hire you, if I could put you on a different team, if I could do all that, I would do that for you. I know that stuff is outside his power, so he can't, but I know he would say that. I know he would say that. And the fact that I know he would say that is what's keeping me around because there's that camaraderie there that we're good associates and we're good friends with each other at that point, you know? And it was funny because the other day, it was his birthday, and his I guess his girl made some like cookies, and on the cookies it had little happy birthday writing on it, and then it also had pictures of him and his dog, and like he came by and he gave us all the cookies, and I was like, oh, I was like, what's the occasion? And he's like, oh, it's my birthday. I was like, oh shit. And then I wanted to get him a birthday cake and
That's
stuff. I was like, you should have
sweet.
told me your birthday's coming up, man. I would have got you something. But like it's such a nice cozy vibe there, like when I'm actually at work and working and doing the stuff I need to do, it's great. My complaint with traffic and stuff is there, but like it's great to just like have that vibe there. But then like when I talk to my management, I just get anxious. Like I shouldn't feel anxious about going to work and talking to these people. I really shouldn't. So like when I started questioning what was going on with that, like I think it really was beyond me. It wasn't my fault. So, now that I'm not the person that yells at me all the time, now that they're gone, the last 2 weeks have been hard because of the work, but now going forward, I think for the next month and a half, it should be better. So I'm gonna see how things go. So that's why my decision was like, you know what? If I get this other opportunity, I would have a heart to heart with this guy and be like, what do you think I should do? Right? And if he's like, hey man, just you
Hmm.
gotta do what's best for you and for your family, then I'll be like, all right. Then I know he's not worried about what's gonna happen with where I'm at currently. So like I said, I'm better about it. Like I feel relaxed. I'm trying to do like I mean your goal of trying to do the 40-day thing is inspirational, right? So I told myself I was like, you know what, no more telling myself let me plan to do stuff. I'm just gonna start doing it, right? I'm just gonna be like
Yeah,
to
but again, it wasn't a decision, it was the listening to my body.
No, well, this is in the sense of what your body needs. This is for me is more my mind needs, right? So I told myself I want to clean up like my room. I want to rotate my desk because like I don't like my current setup. I'm gonna do that today. Like there's nothing on my plate today except for I think my it was my uncle's death anniversary yesterday, and I couldn't go because they were doing it at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I have work. So I asked my family to go. I asked my wife and my kid to go to just kind of represent our family. But my cousin hit me up and he's like, hey, are you free Saturday night? I'm like, I'm sure he wants to go out and just kind of have, hey, this is for you, our his dad, this is for my uncle. We'll have a drink, we'll have some food, we'll just catch up to see how we're both doing. So I think he wants to do that tonight. But I told myself, like, honestly, if I don't start doing this stuff now, like that's it. And I think like when it comes to these decisions that I've been having, like when I left my last job to come here, there are a lot of them were emotional, and I think sometimes it's not the mistake of making emotional decisions. The problems happen to for me is what happened the consequences of that. Me making my emotional decision I think was fine, just like you left your job because that guy, and then I left my job because I was bored and I was uninspired. I think for the most part that was fine, but the fact that I had nothing planned, not planned, but nothing like I was just like I'm quitting, but I never thought of now what kind of a situation. It did burn me, but then I can't blame the situation that happened. I have to blame myself that happened. I should have thought more about this. I should have dwelled in it a little bit longer, like I'm doing on this one, right? Because there were offers that were like, hey, we have a job for you, you can start tomorrow if everything works out, right? And like I was so upset with my job, I was almost considering it, but then I literally took a step back and I was like, no, last time I made a decision like this, I ended up in my situation I'm in now. So I have to be a little bit more careful about it. So I'm happy I didn't make any rash decisions. I'm happy I'm still here, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes in the new year. But all I know is there's a Thanksgiving lunch on Tuesday that I'm looking forward to, and then 2 weeks after that is a holiday party. So I'm just trying to ride that wave to enjoy these little small events.
Thanksgiving. I want to share a little bit of a story. Back in 2019, and I'm glad everything is working out for you the way it
Mm,
should.
mm,
Now you're more rational than emotional. I think that also works there as well. Back in 2019, I partnered with Network of Caring. Network of Caring is a charity foundation that 100% of the cost goes to where it's supposed to go. And the lady that founder of the foundation, in the end of the year, she doubles
mm,
everything that's been donated over the year. She's a successful lady and she doubles everything that's been donated. And one of the we're talking about generosity today,
yes.
and I'm generously sharing my journey of me reading the book and listening to my own body, and also, and one of the things they have a mission of hope. They have a wheelchair mission. You can give a gift of a wheelchair to somebody in need. They have also always have emergency foundations. Right now, they have a emergency foundation for Jamaica. You know, all the catastrophic things that's been happening. They always have um, funds that you can participate. One of my favorites was childhungerfund.org that I was so inspired with because it was only 25 cents. For 25 cents, you can feed a family in need, and not even lying, like it's 25 cents. Um, Maybe after COVID, inflation happened, but it's still 25 cents. And I actually voluntarily pack the boxes. They had so many cans. They had cereal, they had two pasta, they have red and black bean. Like it was a whole box of food.
Mm,
And that year, when it was 2019, I was so inspired. And for Christmas, I decided to. There was a box was given. It says 25 can feed family in need, and it would hold up 21 rolls of quarters.
mm.
And I collected one roll is $10. I collected 21 rolls that year
That's
of
yeah, that's
uh,
really good.
of these quarters, and $210 was donated, and 840 families in need was fed. And what Network of Caring decided to do, they created this because of a Thanksgiving in November. They created to do something day. So one day in November, you pick a day and
Mm,
you do something. A lot of people been donating meat to somewhere, maybe going help out with the disaster cleanup, something, right? So I have been since 2019 been saving all of my change, every single change that would come across. Now we don't have penny. Penny retired right now. Oh my god, I was like penny retired.
yeah, right. I used to be able to get
So,
gumballs machine penny stuff. It was good back in the
so
day, but
yeah,
yeah.
I always save my change and donate to childhungerfund.org. My change goes there. Also, I have $21 goes every month to a general network of caring as well, because I do not trust a lot of companies, but
Mm,
this company I trust because I know the founder, and I know for a fact 100% goes to the cause, and in the end of the year she doubles everything that's been donated, which is amazing. School was built in Mumbai, India. Um, a lot of kids were learning God wisdom, also been putting to work, you know. harvesting the crops and feeding themselves. Of our Africa area also being helped with chairs, right? If you want to give the chair a need, right, just go to networkofcaring.com. And yes, it's not just that, you can help anyone, even help your neighbor, right?
Mm-hmm.
We never know. We used to speak to our neighbors all the time, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. We were so close to our neighbors. Now we don't even know the name of our neighbors, right? Get to know your neighbors. Anything, anything. Because we always, right now, I actually read a story right before I came in. It was on Facebook. Of one of acquaintances. You know, we follow a lot of people on Instagram, and most of them acquaintances, right? Our circle is always small. However, she posted a video saying that she had an open heart surgery and she created a PO box, a supportive system. Send me anything. She said, send me art, send me a letter, send me a card, whatever you want to send me. She's like, send me. So she's looking for support. I think it's a kind of cool thing. I might send her, a note, card, maybe do something like that. I think it's very important to be supportive in a moment where we need it. Right now, our garden season is over, and my mom has, um, she still has a garden house, and my sister been taking care of it.
Mm.
And then my sister was putting her mind, distracting herself to being in the garden, distracting herself of thinking of lo- loss. And now when the garden season is over, she's going through so much. And I've been going through whole October. We're still
Mm.
grieving, and right now she's really going through. As a sister, you need to speak about it and let it out. It's a huge pain, but we need to accept, we need to talk about it, and we need to release. It's been really hitting us badly,
Yeah.
and we are. Yesterday was my uncle's birthday, and we want to call him today because I don't think he knows how to use.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We have a chat that everybody said happy birthday. I don't think he even read that. So I don't know. So what we want to do is just call him straightly and be like, "Hey,
Have a
did you
birthday.
read
Yeah.
your messages? Because it's
Yeah.
tough in the village area
No, of
to,
course.
some
No,
people don't
that,
know how
but
to still
yeah,
use
to
the
that point,
smartphones."
yeah, no, to that point, yeah, with generosity, it's an interesting topic that I brought up, and it's only because I thought about it, especially in this month when we're thankful. I was in church last week, and they were talking about being generous, um, and like I said, like I relate stories when they say like generosity is important, and it was more so important to me to understand it, and I think it helped me make my decision about what wanting to stay in that, because like I've always been an advocate of like being generous without just being giving and generosity without receiving. You know what I mean? So like for me, it was always about doing all that I can do within my power, right? So even things like you said you can, did you know you can for 25 cents you can feed a meal to a family, and I've seen like a lot of the different ones. There's like you can spend $5, $25, whatever, and people are like sometimes they do that and it adds up, or it happens like there's some thing behind it and things like that, and like the thing is when it comes to generosity, you can be generous whatever way you feel comfortable being generous, right? If people don't want to give 25 cents through a corporation, or even like a non funded, or
Profit.
whatever it's called, yeah, and like you don't have to do it like that, but you can be generous in whatever way you're doing it. So like my version of generosity is like I'm giving all I can for the work, even though I'm not getting much out of it, right? But I might be getting yelled at, I might be being berated, I might be burning myself out, right? But the thing is like if you're gonna be generous without like worrying about what if that generosity is gonna come back to you. Like if you're gonna be generous about something and be like, oh, if I'm generous to this situation, or if I'm generous to this thing, it'll come back to me, right? And if you kind of keep thinking that way, it doesn't work out for you too well, too often at least, right? Because if it's kind of like, and I know this sounds crazy, and I think I started wondering about this for a long time, right? You know how like bad stuff happens, and or like something happens to you and it's something bad, right? But it was something good in somebody else's shoes, right? Like somebody cuts you off in traffic, so now they're one car ahead of you, right? And you're just like, you know what, karma's gonna get you. You know what, karma's gonna get you, right? I stopped believing in that, and I think not believing that anymore has helped me. And what I mean by this is that even though that happened to you, you shouldn't go around hoping karma will get them back because they did bad to you. Let whatever happens to them happen, right? But like after a while, I started just to believe, they cut me off, that's fine. They cut me off, I didn't get in an accident, that's fine. You know, like I started really falling back and be like, there's people just like wildly driving around me. I don't have to match that. I don't have to be like, oh, that guy cut me off and almost caused an accident. I hope karma gets you. What am I saying when I say that? I'm saying I hope that you almost get in an accident. Why would I ever wish that upon anybody? That's really messed up to do. You know? If anything, you should use karma the other way. Hey, I found 20 bucks on the floor. Like I look around, no one's here. It's like, hey, I found 20 bucks. I hope somebody else has that same karma. I hope whoever lost the 20 bucks finds something better. If I can give this 20 bucks back to the person that dropped it, of course. But like, why can't we wish karma upon other people in a good way? Hey, I gotta, I do it with one of my friends that I game with, and then one day we went up in New York, Albany, 3-hour drive, best lunch I had in a while, right? But like, you know what she said to me? She's like, I have these opportunities coming to me. I have these interviews. I hope it works out for me. And you know what? I hope it works out for you too, right? She's like, I hope you get job opportunities too, and I hope you find what you're looking for. Like that's the way karma should be. That's the way you should be generous. So
Yes, I don't even use that word.
I really started pushing back against when people, because I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time when something bad happens to someone. They're like, you know what? I hope karma gets that person back. And I try to bite my tongue, but I tell them, listen, man, just let them be. Whatever is gonna happen in their life will happen, right? But
Wish them well.
in your life, just wish them well, and then just do your thing. This is the whole, like, if you get slapped in one cheek, you turn the other cheek. It's all the same story there, and I'm finally understanding more. Whether you use that analogy or karma, it's the same story on both ends, right? But I think that is part of my why I've been feeling a lot better about like my situations, because I'm like, you know what, all this stuff bad happened to me. I'm not even looking to the future like, hey, something good will happen to me if I keep doing this, right? I'm like, if it happens, great. If not, then I can at least work on it and figure out what I want to do, right? Not that I don't say, I don't want to say the universe is playing its part, or I'm not saying that there's signs not given to me or anything like that, but I'm not going to go around like expecting the world to owe me something. If anything, the world already gave me everything in my hands. The world has already given me everything in my hands, the power to do anything, right? So I'm already thankful for that. So I have to just give back, and that's why I think being generous is important. Like me breathing here, me doing this podcast with you, me having a family, me having my cars, me having a job, all that, the world gave that to me. How can I keep asking for more? How can I keep asking for more? You know what I mean? So it took a while for me to get that attitude, and I think because I have that attitude now, I've been doing a little bit better. But that's why I once called this about being generous, right? And more than anything, like with the generosity giving outward, so do things for other people that are good, be generous to yourself, right? Do things for yourself that, like you said, you decide to do this 40-day journey for yourself. You're doing it for yourself,
Yeah.
you know.
Abundantly give
Oh,
yourself to God.
absolutely.
Abundantly.
Every opportunity, every chance that you
Here I
can
am on
give to
my third
yourself,
trip.
give to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, right? Because then you're not going to hit a point that you're going to look in the mirror and be like, that person I see in that mirror, like they don't have anything. No, you gave them everything and you're continuing to give them everything. Fight for that person in the mirror, you know? Fight for that smile to show up in that mirror, you know? And more so than anything, when you give to yourself, you see that reflection in others. I see the goodness that I do for myself. I see that reflection in my family. And you know how I see it? From the way they appreciate me, the way they show me love, the way they laugh and smile with me, the way my daughter comes running home and gives me a hug, the way that, I'll park my car and she starts yelling out the window, and just like yelling. We don't care who listens. We don't like she opens the window and just starts yelling random movie lines from Harry Potter. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. And I'm like, it's not embarrassing. This is the greatest thing ever, for your daughter to be yelling on a street just random stuff when her father comes home. Shows that, yo, like, I love this dad. I love this man. And we don't care who watches. We don't care who whatever. Like, we all we get now whenever we do stuff, we just get compliments saying your kid is amazing. I'm like, honestly, yes. And I'm like, she's amazing. And I'm like, I'm amazing because she's amazing. But to her, it's she's amazing because I'm amazing. So the generosity is just, it doesn't necessarily have to be with, let me give you money, let me implore money into you. If you can, fantastic, absolutely do it. Anybody's capable of doing it. Do what you can, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to be money. It doesn't, right? I will say though, like, I would hope that generosity would be something kinder towards the world. Whether it's smiling at
Yeah,
somebody
like
when they walk by, saying,
do
hi, you look
something.
great, like
Yeah,
whatever. Just like, as long
yeah.
as it's something that gives good to the world. Be generous in that
Do
sense.
something. Yeah, do something then. That's why it was created. Do something then. It's not only about money, it's anything.
Yeah.
Somebody's painting needs to paint the house.
Yeah.
And boom. And have them to throw a painting party or something. It's anything.
It's and it's crazy how much of that can make a difference, right? Even an act so small. So an example I'll give is we redid our bathroom, our bedroom, our bathroom up here. Like, we had a tax return. I think it was tax return money, but we're like, we want to redo the bathroom because it's a little bit old. It's a little bit like worn out, stuff like that, right? So we hired a team of guys to do it, right? And they're Spanish people, and they speak good enough English, whatever. But like, we, like, their job is their job. They come in, they do their bathroom, they leave, right? They've been coming like every weekend, like at least one day a weekend. Every weekend they come, my parents give them lunch. They order pizza, they'll order whatever, they'll give them soda, they'll get like 2 liters of soda. They'll work, the guys will come in, they'll work from like 10 to like 4 or 5. And around 12, 1 o'clock, my mom's like, yeah, guys, take a break, have some lunch. We got you food, here you go. And one of the guys was literally like, we've been working for like 20 years. Barely any people ever, they barely offer us water. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, yeah, you're doing a job, but like, you're human too. You guys need a
You're
break, and
human.
it's
You gotta
hot.
eat.
You gotta eat. You gotta refuel.
You
Blah
gotta
blah blah.
drink water.
You gotta drink water. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, that's crazy. But it's because, like, people just feel like, I'm paying you for service. Do that service. Yeah, you're paying them to do a service, but you could be human too. If they're thirsty, hey, you make lemonade. Share some lemonade.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's not that hard.
absolutely.
So like, they're telling me that at the end of the job, they're like, they're kind of sad that they're done working with us, because like, they're so they're happy for our generosity, And on top of, after finishing the job, we gave them a tip on top of that, and they're like, why are you doing this? And like, the thing is, my family has always, they grown up that way. My dad has always been that person. My dad could have the shittiest day on earth. Like, everybody's like hard on him. He understands that we don't have a lot of money. Sometimes we struggle putting bread on our table, right? But not once has somebody came up to him and he's turned away from them like, I can't help you. It's always been, I'll help you the best that I can, right? So even like when we had people like mowing our lawn or stuff like that, we didn't have money to give them. Look, we don't have a lot of money, but look, I have some soda. I have a can of soda. Here's some soda. I have some water. Here's some water. Like it was always like, my family would always selflessly give without expectations of return. And that's what I mean, like, generosity. Like, I think the biggest lesson is, the more, like, I was driving home the other day and I thought about how much my mom and dad have worked in their lives, right? And they have maybe some college experience at best. They never got a full degree, they never had a full career. You know, my dad worked jobs as a cashier, my mom worked jobs at a factory, you know, and they did that for years. And I'm over here yelling at myself, or not yelling. I complained to myself, like, why they were able to, even when they felt sick, they would go to work. The only time they wouldn't go to work is if they were like bedridden, sick, like I can't get out of bed. Other times, if they didn't feel good, every day, 5 days a week, go to work, come home, clean up, make dinner. They
Mhm.
did it without complaint. And I'm like, I'd have a small tummy ache and be like, yeah, I'm gonna call out. Oh, I'm having a little strife at work. Yeah, I'm about to quit. Right? But then, like, I looked back at myself and I'm like, why am I being so hard on myself? There's jobs where I worked overnight. There's jobs where I worked from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. There's jobs that, like, I had to drive through storms and I almost died going to work, right?
Ooh.
I'm like, why didn't I ever give myself credit? Like, my parents, I know, would be proud of me. I mean, yeah, I've complained about jobs and quitting and stuff like that, right? But why am I so hard on myself when I've also sacrificed a lot? I've also given the world a chance and things
Pat
like that.
yourself on the shoulder.
And then I realized how much I don't, how I realized how much I'm not
Give
generous to
yourself the
myself.
credit. Yep.
Like, I'm not like, I should be proud of where I am. Maybe I'm not where someone else is and they're at a higher point, or someone below me is at a lower point. Like, the life is not about comparison, I just, you have to, like, am I happy where I'm at? No, but I have the power to make it better or not. But why am I not celebrating my goals? Why am I not celebrating my victories? Why am I, when I see my defeat, beating myself up from the defeat, right? So I think with being generous is just me fighting for me more, right? And a lot of these lessons, when I thought about it, like, oh, my mom did it, my dad did it, my brother did it, my friends did it. Why can't I do it? I started looking back. I'm like, well, I didn't do what they did, but I did this. And when I look at that way, I'm like, who else can like, would they have been able to do the same thing in my shoes? Maybe, but, like, I've also done a lot. I've done a lot for myself, and I really should be proud of it. Sorry, Morning, you said this comment a while ago. I never read it. Generosity can be a gift of time or even attention, actually seeing someone else listening. Amen. And I like that, the fact that you said that, because, like I said, I met Morgan when I had my kid, right? I met Morgan online, and we've been talking forever since, like, we met. Like, I feel like I've known Morgan my entire life. There's days that go by that we talk. There's days that go by that we don't, right? But not once was she like, "You don't give me enough time. You don't give enough." When we hang out, oh yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, thanks for making one day for me. No, whenever we catch up, it's always a blessing. When we catch up, we play games, we talk, and we're just like, yeah, this was a good time. We have to do this again soon. We don't say when. We don't say, hey, tomorrow for sure. Hey, we don't make these plans. But one thing we do is we talk every day. And even that's a gift, right? So, gift of time or even attention, just like you said, Morgan. You have no obligation to have to text me every day and say, morning,
Yeah.
Sanjay, or whatever. No obligation at all, but you do it from the generosity. Just like I respond to you from the generosity. You know, um, I think I talked about this in a podcast, but, like, you know, I want to be as generous as possible, but I don't want it to come at a point that if I start complaining about my generosity, then I don't think it's generosity. Like, if I'm constantly giving time and I expect something in return, then I'm not being generous to you or to myself, right? But I remember mentioning I was spending a lot of time with people that, if I never start the conversation, if I never reach out to you, they'll never talk to me. And for a while, I let that bother me, right? And I looked at it in a negative way. But now, like, if I'll reach out to people when I can, and
Yes.
I don't hold it against them if they don't reach out to me. So I do what I can with the time I got. But honestly, the people who, like Morgan, give more time back, they might get more responses back to me. They might give more time back to me, and I don't think that's greedy. I don't think that's wrong to do. That just shows that, like, I'm being generous to her. She's being very generous to me, and that camaraderie is there, and that's why we'll play. I might reach out to her more. I might talk to you more and stuff like that. Right? You shouldn't be generous as a detriment to your own self. Makes no sense. So, I reach out to people. I catch up with people when I can, but I think I'm finding understanding generosity. Of course, when I was at church, it's about being generous to Jesus. But to me, like I said, it's more about life for me than religion. And but I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. And even the ideals there when it comes to religion, like you don't, even for me being generous to religion, I don't really have a full faith towards anything per se, and in a limelight that could be a negative thing, but in another light, I don't think it is. I think it's being respectful. When I go to church, they do a communion. I forgot what it's called. The one where you go to church. They give you bread and wine, or not wine, but juice or whatever, and it's kind of just like a representation of like the sacrifice that Jesus Christ made. Right now, yeah, I'll say I'm not 100% on board per se, but I'm not against it. But I'll be respectful for it. You allowed me into your building and your place of faith, and you're showing me love, generosity, and even faith, right? So I give that back because you do it to me. Like I don't do it because like, oh, you're giving me uh religious faith or whatever, and now I feel obligated to give it back. No, I give it back to you because you like I feel I want to give it back to you because you're the generosity that you're giving to me, I want to give back to you, right? And I feel like that's how that works, and I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. So me going to church every Sunday, it might not be the same reason that a lot of people go to church every Sunday, but I still respect church, the meaning of church, and everything behind it. And this place that I go to now respects it back to me, even if I'm not on the same page. So that's why I kind of love like going there, and I learn a lot. Like the last few podcasts that we've been doing were based off ideals that I have learned from church.
That's great.
You know?
That's great. One of the my favorite quotes that I like is, when you give something, you should not expect, and when
Something
you
in
don't
return, right?
expect, it's kindness. And if you expect something, it's business. So where is it? Kindness or business? Right? I love that
Right.
quote, and that definitely changed the way I look at things. And generously giving your, even when you're listening to somebody with an open heart, you can listen many ways, but you actually listening with an open heart,
Yeah.
right? That's exactly what I was learning this week. Actually being fully there, listening with an open heart, and generously being there for that person.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. That's kindness.
I definitely I think I have been a lot harder, especially on myself, and I think I definitely have uh things I have to fight for. The whole me versus me, and one of us must die, or will always apply, right? And the thing is, like, it's never just gonna when you say it's me versus me, and one of us die, right? There's always gonna be a new me, and then it's me versus me again, right? So it's not just a simple of one of us has to live, like one version of us have to live, because there's always going to be another version of us, but that version of us has to be better than the version that we had before, right? We talked about this before, not just improving 1% per day, but also just like, are you a better person than you were yesterday? Are you a better version of yourself than yesterday? And I was struggling for that for a while, because like I let a lot of it be determined by the world around me, and
Hmm.
it's tough. And like it's not. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that it's hard sometimes, and sometimes it's one of those things where when I met Gina, for example, right? Like I told you that we were complimenting each other, and we would look away and look down and like not admit to we deserve the compliment, because it's hard for us in a world where we get beaten down left and right every single day. It's hard for us to accept that someone's being nice to us, right? And I think I learned a lot
Hmm.
about even Gina that day, that I was just like, we have to fight for this. We have to fight for like the compliments that we get. We have to fight that we deserve those compliments. And I remember, I think I'm hoping I haven't talked to her. I talked to her like a day after. I haven't talked to her since. I'm probably gonna text her a little bit later, but like I like I told her I don't want her to feel wrong by feeling sad. Like, don't, you're not wrong. You have every right to feel sad. You have every right to feel down. You have every right to want to cry. I'm not telling you you don't have any right to not feel that way, but what I'm saying is you also have every right to know that you are worthy, that you deserve the smiles. You deserve the compliments that you get, you know? You deserve that the hard work you put into something comes back to you, you know? I was watching her the way that she was working when we are at the spot, and everybody loves Gina. And I'm like, you need to see that. People want to hug you when they leave. People want to greet you when they come. That means a lot. So like, I tell her, I was like, I want you to make sure that you know that I don't want you to feel like you're not making a difference, because you're making the biggest difference. It's hard for you to see that. It's hard for me to see that. I'm still working on it. But that's why you have people like you, Rose, and then you have people like me, people like Morgan, people like Megan, people like Frank. We all of us are
Yeah.
here, and like we have to accept the good things that we hear, because they're not just saying it to make you feel good. They're saying it because it's the truth. You know, I think long gone are the days where I compliment someone, I'll say something nice to someone and not mean it, because like back then it's kind of like, oh, we'll just say it so you feel good because I want you to be happy, right? Now I'll tell the truth about everything, and I'm very upfront and very blunt about things. And like when people are in situations where they're like, they feel like they're doing good but they're really not, I'll tell them, I'm like, you got to look at it this a different way. And I'm like, I still want you to feel rightful. Like, I want you to be like, I want you to understand that you're doing good, but just
Sorry.
you can be, no, you're
Mm-hmm.
good, you can, like, just like some people just don't see things. And I think, I don't know. I think there needs to be a level of balance, because you can't just bank off everything you tell yourself, and you can't bank off everything somebody else tells you. There has to be a balance to it, right? But I think one thing that Gina had brought up was, you know, she was good to a lot of people who are not good to her, right? And I had to flip the script on her and tell her, you just have to remember what you did. Like, you can give yourself completely to someone and they could completely fuck you over, right? But that's
Mm-hmm.
not a reflection of your character. That's a reflection of their character. That generosity that you have in you that you gave, that's your golden ticket. That's the golden you. That is the truest form of like love and honesty and generosity at that point, right? But because they fucked you over at that point, that's not on you that happened. She was falling back on, she must have done something wrong for this to happen. And I said, no, sometimes in life that just happens, you know? But I told her, look at it like this. She met a lot of people that kind of, in points that she did a lot for, did good for, and it didn't work out, right? And she's like, I just feel like it's a waste of time. And I told Gina, you kept going with that same attitude and you met me. And look at where we're at now. You might get like 1,000 people come your way and they're not good to you, or they might mistreat you and stuff like that. But sometimes you meet that one person that sticks around, and it makes it all worthwhile. And then I think when I said that, she finally understood it. And I was like, you got to look at it that way. That even though you had all this stuff happen to you, in the end, like not in the end, but as you kept going on your journey, you met me, you met Rose, you met Frank,
Mm-hmm.
you met whoever. And it's like you meet these people that end up sticking to you. And it's great. It's fantastic. You know, even when I met like Morgan, I met a countless people that I got close to, and all of a sudden they disappeared. But then like I met Morgan, and Morgan stuck around, and she's still around, and she's around every day. You don't expect this stuff to happen, but the thing is, if we ever lose sight of ourselves, we might not get these chances, right? Morgan says, I have the hardest time accepting compliments because I always feel I can do so much better. But I realize people generally tend to like me and want to be around me. Sometimes I can't figure out why, but I try not to question it
You're
too
just a
much.
great person,
Yeah, and
Morgan.
it's hard for us to see. I ask myself the same thing. When people want to hang out with me, I'm like, why? I'm boring. I don't really do much. I don't go out, whatever. But it's like people tell me all the time when they hang out with me and we have conversations like this, I don't even think about it in that way. I'm just like, oh yeah, like even our podcast, if you look at it, like I sat here, we talked for like an hour, but to me, it's like it might, it might not be anything too to me it's super special, so it's a hard example to use, right? Because like I said, doing this podcast is like therapy to me, but it's also therapy to you. It's fun to talk to you, it's fun to talk to Morgan, it's fun to talk to our guests. But it also, like, we all hit points that, like, I was questioning, like, why would people want to hang out with me more, right? But you know what I started doing? I tell myself what, and I joke around about it with people at work all the time now, right? I'm like, I tell people all the time, like, they're like, oh, sorry, I bother you so much about problems. And I'm like, no, no, it's fine. I'm like, listen, at this point, we're best friends. Like, I'll say stuff like this and things like that, and they love it, and they start laughing. And they're like, oh, they're like, why are you so easy to work with? Why are you so cool? I was like, because I'm fantastic. I am fucking fantastic. Like, I like to, like, do little sprinkle little things in there, and like, everyone has a good time, everyone is happy, whether it's true or not. Like, maybe me saying that, I might not fully believe it, but I, with the smiling responses I get, the laughing that I get, they come up to me after, Sanjay, here's some chocolate, here's some, whatever. Like, it's making me feel that I am believing what I'm feeling, so, Morgan, yeah, I agree. It's hard, and Rose agrees with us. Like, you're just a fantastic person. You might see sides of you that are not, and we might not see sides of you that are, we might not see that. But the things that we see, we're here for, and even the things that you might not feel great about, we're also here for, right? Because we don't love parts of you, just like we don't love parts of each other. If we love each other, we love each other wholly. We love each other completely. The good, the bad, the ugly, doesn't matter, right? And Rose and I are really the type of people that we keep each other grounded, especially, right? I think since the time that Rose and I met, we keep ourselves grounded. We do look up at the stars. We do want to go as far as we can go, right? But we always make sure that we get there the rightful way. And if there's things we disagree with, we talk about. Because I don't think there's anything in life that we can't not talk about. I don't think there is.
Sure. Just don't forget, you're always awesome.
Yeah. Um,
Everyone,
everyone,
you are
you're always
always
awesome.
awesome. Yeah. So always give yourself a credit for all the hard work you have done already. Pat yourself on the shoulder. Reward yourself for every small win. 'Cause that's important. You got
100%.
up this morning, that's a small win. Took a shower, that's a small win. You worked out, that's a small win. You read a book, that's a small win. You had a breakfast, that's a small win. That's already so many small wins.
Hmm.
And sometimes we think, oh, it's just a routine. It's just boring. It's just what we do. No, it's something we can call it small win because all those small wins combinedly become a huge win because it is a huge win. Every day is an amazing day. It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. And you are always awesome, no
Hmm.
matter what you do. You're doing bad things, you're still awesome. One day you're gonna just wake up and say, hey, why would I was doing all these bad things when I can do the good things?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yes,
but
sometimes we do get too hard on ourselves. We're like, oh, well, I'm not doing this. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. No,
it's
do what you
crazy.
love and do it with joy.
It's crazy because, like, we have talked about in the past, saying that, whatever you're gonna be the best of whatever that is, right? And we've always been encouraging of being like, do good and stuff like that, right? And not that I'm trying to say do bad or anything like that, but like we have the capability of doing anything. And I don't know, to me it always made sense to look out after others. And back to, like, even the stuff Chimar said, if I'm rising, you're rising with me. Like, why can't we all just be
Yes.
more like that? Why can't we all just, like, be more encouraging in that sense, right? And that's why it was very hard for me to work with my management, because it was like, you have to defeat the enemy, right? And I'm like, there's no enemy to be defeated, right? I was like, there's no enemy to be defeated. Like, the situation that's happening in that sense was business, but, like, there's a better way to look at it. There's a better way to approach it. Like, it's like watching sports games, right? When you watch sports game, it's one team versus another, right? And, like, you'll see people get in each other's face, like, oh, I'm the better player, I'm the better player. And of course people are going to be that way. But have you ever watched sports games and, like, they might be opposing teams, but they'll still hug each other, they still give them a high five, they'll be like, oh, good play, like, that's the competition. Your competition's that part of the competition, not necessarily the person. It's just like, whoever gets some more points or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like
It
that's like
costs
the
free to be nice.
it costs nothing to be kind. It costs nothing to be kind, you know. So I always implore for people to be that way. Um, but yeah, that is the gist of generosity. That is the gist of what I think is important: to be generous to others, generous to yourself, and overall, it's about being generous, not about what you get in return for being generous. It's about being generous.
Can you be generous? No.
It's.
Let's
I think it's a matter of.
let's sprinkle that everywhere.
I think it's a matter of, it's not just like a matter of can you be generous.
Magical.
You can be generous, but like in what way would you like to be generous? You know, I think it is possible for everyone to be generous, and just like Morgan and we all are talking about, right? Everybody can be generous. So just be generous in the best way you can be generous. Those are my final parting words for generosity. I'll let you I'll let you go from there.
Generous, generous. It's a beautiful word, and sometimes we tend to forget. We become so selfish, self-centered, and think about our own goals and dreams. And oh, mm, whatever you give to the world, it comes back to you tenfold. So, can you be more selective what you give? Can you give nice? Can you give kind? Can you give love? Can you give joy? Can you give a compliment? There is technique. Compliment 3 people a day, right? For 30 days and see how it changes the world, right? Make someone smile. You can make someone day by just saying, hey, you're awesome. And that really works, helps. And it costs totally nothing to do that.
I agree. I will tweak what you said in the sense of be generous, and I agree that generosity will come back to you when it does. I won't say
Breaking my
sit.
words.
Yeah, I want to say that only because reason being is generosity will come back to you one in one way or another, right? But I wouldn't go holding my breath waiting for generosity to come back to you. Generosity will come visit you just like the universe will come visit you, right? I don't think you should do generous things and hope that universe will eventually be generous back to you. I think the art of being generous is just
It's just automatic. Whatever you give, it comes. Like,
I
it's like,
it's fine. It's fine. I'm not against it,
right?
right? You
Like,
you have your
yeah.
belief. You have your belief in that, and that's fine. I'm
Like if
not.
you're smiling around and being happy and sharing that happiness, do you think it's not coming back to you? Are they gonna come back to you with a oh?
No,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is I'll go around giving a
Yeah,
smile, not expecting a smile to come back.
yeah,
It's better to be
I
the
get
one that
that.
smiled than the one that didn't smile back, right? So like you can go around giving smiles, but if you sit there saying you smile, smile, but somebody, eventually somebody will smile back. If you want to believe that, that's fine. I'm not saying anything against that. What I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
is,
I don't believe in that, but what I believe in that whatever we give from our heart, put it out there, we sprinkle it
yeah, no,
like a
but
seed,
see,
and
like what I'm
eventually
saying is
we're
just
gonna
do that, right?
people are
Just
gonna
do that.
yeah,
Just give
people are
out, and
gonna
that's it. And if it
pick up
comes
those
back,
seeds and do the same thing, hopefully.
yeah, maybe, hopefully, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going against what you're saying, Rose. I'm just saying like just give. That's it. Just
I got
smile,
you.
right? And,
Yeah,
not that smile so somebody smiles back at you. No, just smile. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's literally out of your control, right? One day it'll come back, great. One day if it doesn't, fine. It doesn't matter. Just smile. That's all I was trying to say. But I agree that I feel like when you give from your heart, something will give back to your heart. I agree. But for me, it was just give from your heart. That's it.
yes, yes. Morgan said generosity sometimes come back to you and simply knowing you did the right things
And that could
and did the
and
best you
did the best
could.
you exactly. So if you look at it in that light, I wholeheartedly agree that like if you feel generous in the act of just giving generosity, then yeah, it's a win. It's own win. So if that part of it, I think that part of the wording makes sense the way that Morgan had said it. Like, if the act of generosity is your payback for being generous, 110%, that's what I agree with. Not what you do per se will come back to you, but the fact that you feel great that you were generous is your version of generosity. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah,
So,
yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
You, I guess,
like
if
a
anything, you were
fake.
saying it in more words, if anything, and I kept it maybe more simple. But in the end, we're both talking about the same thing. But yeah, Morgan,
Yeah.
that too, exactly. So I think
Sprinkle,
let us all just
sprinkle
be
around.
let us all just be generous as we are and continue to be generous. And then next week we will continue to be thankful as well, because it is Thanksgiving time, and we can definitely talk about our Thanksgivings and just talk about things we're thankful about. So next week we will be talking about being thankful.
Yes, definitely. We're grateful for you to still watching us, listening us on Spotify, and watching us on YouTube, being here live in the chat. We definitely appreciate all the shares, likes, and comments. I think we need more people to tune in and be more generous with us.
Yeah, no, I agree. It, yeah, I agree. No, I don't disagree. I agree that people definitely should tune in and watch our shows and stuff like that. I also agree that there's definitely a lot more to Motivation Station that we want to do, and definitely kind of reach out to more of a crowd. I think in time things will get better, but I honestly am super grateful with where we're at. I'm super grateful that on a Saturday at 11 o'clock I can just sit here and talk, whether we have viewers, whether we don't, whether we have people who comment, whether we don't. I always feel like it's a great time. I always feel like I learned something new, and it's exciting. Like you know, I think maybe there were times that when we would do the podcast, I felt more like a task than doing a hey, I want to do this, and I think that might have hit both of us. But now I think we're at points that we look forward to what we're going to do on Saturday, right? We look forward to talking to whoever's around, whoever, whether it's just us two or with guests or with audience. But it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just being very generous, per se, but I think it's just like I'm just happy with how everything is and how everything is going, and we're gonna continue to be this awesome, be this generous, be this thankful, and we will bring it into our next week. So let us say cheers to another fantastic
Cheers.
episode. Cheers to my little cats with the little scars.
Cat, cat.
I have to get more
I got
mugs, man.
little lemons in here.
I really like that teapot. I gotta get that kind of teapot going too. It's very pretty.
Yeah,
But
do not drink a lot of it. This tea it put me to sleep
oh
because
no,
it's supposed
there's
to calm you down.
well, see, that's what you need. Like, you're just so calm now. It's like I need to just relax and then knock out. Exactly. But anyway,
Day's only starting. And we're not relaxing right now.
eh,
Keep it going.
hey, sometimes we just need that day to recharge. All right, that's all that matters. But again, guys, we appreciate that you guys came by. Morgan, we appreciate you catching up with us, and we will look forward to seeing you guys next week on our
Yes,
Thanksgiving
and
episode.
have a motivated day.
Have a motivated day, guys. See you soon. Take care, all right?
Bye.